It's the closest we'll ever get to walking on water. It includes a surfboard, a paddle, and maybe you. People are revealing their most secret thoughts in front of hundreds.
Mandy is driving me crazy.
Where you can share your deepest secrets or delight in someone else's this week. Start your engines and ride along as we discover the Northwest's quirkiest roadside attractions. It's Evening Magazine for Monday, July 9th.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. Now, wasn't that an incredible weekend? This is why we live here, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Well, as those summer evenings continue to heat up, how about a fun and relaxing way to spend them? Check out Jazz on the Lawn here at Cedarbrook Lodge. This is a gorgeous property, unexpectedly nestled into South Seattle, and we are going to be giving away an overnight stay here, plus some concert tickets a bit later on, so stick around for that. Well, another fun summer activity might just be stand-up paddleboarding. Now, you've probably already heard about it, but our Michael King decided to go ahead and try it, and apparently had a bit of a mishap on the way. Michael, what's up with your head?
Oh, this? Hi, thanks for noticing. I'm going to be fine. They say I'm going to make it, but I got whacked by a squash racket just this morning, 5 stitches. But the cool thing about this sport is something like this, not a problem. They say if you can stand up, you can stand up paddle.
It is as if they're walking on water.
Yeah, that's that sensation I was talking about. Almost biblical.
A surfer for 25 years, Jeff Underwood says he may never surf again.
And it's every bit as much fun. I mean, you can...
He's talking about stand-up paddling, where you stand on top of a surfboard with a paddle. It can be as easygoing or as extreme as you want. Stand-up paddling can become surfing in a hurry if a wave comes your way. But before you ride the water, you start on land, paddle in hand.
I guess you got to know how to hold it, right?
On the top, right. And you've actually got yours backwards.
Of course.
You'll notice that there's a bend to the blade. That actually bends to the front. It's a parallel stance, not a surf stance, unless you're actually surfing a wave. Just a nice shoulder width stance, typically, and with your toes pointed towards the nose.
Before you run, you got to walk, right? Well, here, before you stand, you got to crawl.
Yeah, so we can start on our knees just to get used to the equipment. And when you're feeling comfortable, brace the paddle in front of you. Okay, nice. Now get the paddle in the water and relax your knees.
This is the most approachable sport I've ever tried. Within seconds, I'm having fun.
You may feel it tomorrow because you're using muscles that you may not have used much.
Core workouts are all the rage these days, and this is one of the best.
It's full body, fingers to toes. You're using your arms, shoulders, sides, stomach, back, legs, toes.
Yeah.
Plus, when you're standing, you can see much more below.
I love going out in the Sound because you'll actually see the harbor seals, what they're doing under the water, not just popping up next to you, like if you're in a kayak. You see them swimming figure eights underneath your feet.
Or you just might see something else. This stand-up paddler off the coast of Southern California is joined by a pair of great white sharks.
At that point, you don't want to fall off.
Probably not. But you do have a weapon. You've got a paddle in your hand so you can poke it. When you're on these, you're standing. You have no limbs dangling off the water.
So if you don't want to get eaten by sharks, and who does these days, but you do want to play in the water, you may want to become a stand-up guy or gal.
Thanks, Michael. That does look like a lot of fun. Well, after a good workout in the summer heat, there is nothing like a nice cold beverage. Now, some folks like beer, and apparently there's a company in Seattle that thinks it shouldn't be limited to just humans. Here's Kim Holcomb with the story. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Megan. Yeah, you have to look really closely at this label because this beer is specially brewed for party animals, the literal kind.
You guys okay over there?
At Belltown Pub, They take pride in catering to all customers.
On draft, we have 9 different selections.
Whatever their taste
Bottle beers, we probably have about a dozen.
or species.
Absolutely, no discrimination at our pub. Here you go.
Here you can order a cold one for your fellow man or beast.
Being able to serve her a nice non-alcoholic beer will be funny.
That's exactly what this is. Beer for dogs, made by a Des Moines entrepreneur.
All my life saying, gee, I wish I thought of that. And so now I have kind of something that people say the same thing about.
Jenny Brown is a lifelong dog owner whose treat business started a few years back with something salty. Dog pretzels.
And then I thought, what goes with pretzels but beer? So that was kind of the long and short of it.
Jenny developed Bowser Beer, a cold, refreshing beverage with a meaty finish.
Ready?
Perfect for active dogs or just thirsty ones.
There you go. Good boy. They work up a thirst. So then they need a beer at the end of a playtime.
There's no threat of developing a drinking problem. Bowser Beer is non-alcoholic, flavored with beef and chicken instead of hops.
It has malt barley in it, which is good for their coats, nice shiny coats. And then we added some glucosamine. So I always say so that it helps their joints so they can get up and get you a beer.
The selling points seem to be working. Jenny ships all over the country, and her list of celebrity clients is growing.
Screenwriters, authors, actresses, news anchors, rock stars, you know, they all have dogs.
And most dogs appear to have a taste for something other than water.
She's a very responsible drinker.
Dogs treat every day like it's a special occasion. And now you can raise a glass or a bowl and celebrate with them.
Dogs are just always with you, so it's natural that they would party with you. Good to the last drop.
The Belltown Pub hosts a dog happy hour once a month. If you would like some more information about that or where to find Bowser Beer, head off to our website for the appropriate link. Still to come tonight on Evening Magazine. Heading to Oregon this summer? There's no need to make it a boring trip along I-5. We've got some fun roadside attractions a bit later in the show. Coming
If you think the I-5 stretch from Olympia to Portland is just one big 100-mile-long yawn, join us on a search for adventure.
I came down here just to see the egg. I'd heard so much about it.
Art.
There's a piece of styrofoam out here that's over a year old that isn't interesting to look at.
And all kinds of roadside attractions.
It's a great place for a picnic.
Most people stop because they have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and it's a good rest stop.
It's the 5 most eye-catching sights on I-5.
Mike, I got to get out of this car.
Stop number 1, exit 82, Centralia. Richard Tracy's Art Yard.
But this is what I do to keep normal.
Richard's garden is one gargantuan, overgrown art gallery, an eccentric celebration of his own creativity.
And when that art hits you, it hits you like a ton of bricks.
Richard uses found objects to fashion kings and queens, children, dogs, birds, and mobiles made from his favorite material, styrofoam.
Isn't that nice? Nice, nice.
It's no Seattle art museum, but that's just fine with Richard.
I saw O'Keeffe's, and I saw Jackson Pollock's, and I saw Mark Tobey's that were terrible at that Seattle Art Museum. Oh, I thought, my God, I got stuff I throw away that's better than that.
Before we left,
Yeah.
We brought this from Seattle.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah.
a small contribution to the arts.
Yeah, this works.
Our next stop, exit 79, Chehalis, home of the Vintage Motorcycle Museum.
There was over 100 different makes of American-made motorcycles before 1915.
Frank Mason began collecting old iron back in the 70s. All but a few of these motorcycles can still be fired up and taken down the road.
None of them go much faster than 40, 45 mile an hour top. And so they're just like old cars, just a button and a banging down the roadway.
Among the 40 bikes here, you'll find vintage Harleys, Indians, and even a flying Merkel. Finally comes exit 63, Winlock, home of the world's largest egg. Redmond's Jeannie Blevins is here for personal reasons.
Our family homesteaded here from Germany, so you see it's in my history, this egg. And this is really no lie.
The 1,200-pound concrete egg is a tribute to the days when Winlock was the largest egg-producing town on the West Coast.
That's a pretty big egg, Mike, but it's time to scramble.
Past the Gaspador monuments, one man's tribute to Mother Teresa, Native Americans, and victims of the Holocaust, we head down to exit 36, Longview, home of the Nutty Narrows Bridge.
And it's supposed to be the only squirrel bridge in the world.
The local Sandbaggers Club claim to be guardians of the Squirrel Bridge.
Well, the legend is that Amos J. Peters built the Squirrel Bridge back in 1963 because he was worried that squirrels were trying to run across the busy street out here and weren't making it. And it works. They do cross the bridge. In fact, there goes one.
For more amazing feats of engineering, we stop at exit 30, Kalama, home of the world's tallest one-piece totem pole, 140 feet high. And just across the interstate, the Kalama River End, where Elvis Presley hoped to spend a quiet September night in 1962. Instead, he attracted a crowd.
So what room is this?
That's 219 and 220.
Now you can share a room with Elvis, or at least his black velvet stand-in.
Thank you very much.
But you never know, there just might be a surprise waiting at the next exit.
All right, enough with the driving. I gotta get out.
Nice, nice.
Thank you very much, Saint. Now, if you know of any roadside attractions, why don't you tell us about them on our Facebook page? And
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Cheers, my friend.
King 5 is part of Belo.